This is a map of the Tallinn, Estonia Open Air Museum. We're in the lower right hand corner where it says Casa. And as you can hear from the noise behind me, there's a mob of kids showing up, which is good. But I will wait to see which way their teacher takes them and go in the opposite way. Looking at this, you can see there's a dotted red line. My guess is that's a walking tour type thing. So what I think I'll do as a strategy is take off here to the left and work my way over here and then work my way back across and blah blah blah. So off we go. Our first little building. First little complex is over there. Interpretive sign here for the Baltic station, built in 1870 to accommodate the traffic from Tallinn to St. Petersburg when the railroad was opened there. Don't quite know why it's here. I'm guessing I'm going in the back way because of the route I'm taking. Much of what we'll see here today is perhaps similar to what we've seen before, but different in some nuances we may or may not be able to appreciate, like the way they hold that ridge line down. But these are massive buildings, same material, obviously, that kind of reed, whatever it is, and then logs. Complex is 250 years old. We'll go up here so we can take a look inside. These are storehouses, what others seem to call barns down in Riga. How low the ceiling is, and this doorway, presumably because it was used so seldom. On the other hand, this upper part provided probably some kind of storage, maybe for hay and that sort of thing. This may be decoration, or it may simply be airflow, which was considered essential for this particular room. Exactly why, of course, I don't know. Interesting to wonder what that's for. It looks like it was suspended from above. Grinding stone, we're able to see how it works. I hadn't seen this idea before. I've seen the hole here, but not this. I wonder if other cultures came up with that innovation. He spoke English, which was nice. Workings of a local garden. Probably essential to keep wild animals away from your literal foodstuffs as opposed to large fields of grain. This is probably a pen for small animals, babies. Photograph idea, because it gives us a sense of how life really was with these kind of buildings. Apparently there's a toilet out there. This, even though it's a large building and probably a storage building, I'm guessing, it's got this open center portion, as we've seen before. Homemade sled of sound effects so we can empathize more with what went on. But that, I think, is a... No, it's not. I thought it was a cat in here. I thought it was a cat when I walked by, but it's a sound effect. Effect's good because you can hear the cow chewing if I shut up. See some of these implements that I've seen before in actual use. Apparently the purpose of that is to break up the clods the plow produced. Plow producing clods. Picture of the herding geese reminds me of the geese I saw in Cambodia. The summer kitchen conical pole tent. The same thing in a bigger version in Riga's museum. I wonder what the purpose of the pole tent really was. Didn't keep insects out, let smoke out. We draped with skins in case it rained. Our next homestead along our route with a large, what looks like an erratic, and a home and perhaps the outbuildings. Imagine how secure this family probably felt at this stage of its growth, putting aside whatever politics existed at the time. district. This little side room and storage up above. Now we're in a little house and it's warm in here. Maybe the heater's even going or it's just kept warm. Ah, thank you. It's small but adequate. Intimate. It's about the size I would need. Pretty. Out of the house just as they were passing, so I thought I better wait in case they thought I was the blacksmith who used to occupy this property. And here, facsimile of a well. Smithy. The sign tells us that he took his payment in produce from the people he did work for. Makes sense, the barter system. If the smithy, like the app developer today and the computer engineer, was known for an affinity for innovation. He was, but in concert always with the people he was creating for or making for, because they would have been imagining how their everyday tools could be made better. This cute little building was the sauna. You wonder why our culture did not develop this as a tradition, since many of the people in our culture came with this tradition. What a welcome treat after a hard day on the anvil. Right at the next street, we'll make a quick detour to look at the village school. This school looks actually quite modern. Machine finished wood. We may have here is the kitchen that served the kids, and they came from the whole area, wherever this area was. Maybe the school teacher even lived here. It's like a sad iron that may have contained coals. And that's what that little pipe on the side device is, to exit the smoke and heat. It's upstairs, maybe singing Estonian songs. Here perhaps the classic classroom. Again, this is relatively new except for the log inner wall, which we've seen as a basic design. But notice it's a milled wood here also. Maps perhaps of Estonia, I believe, is. That being, I think, Latvia. Should you really have pontificated from such a pulpit? Is that an abacus? A number of heads that would have turned all day long to look at this facsimile of a cat. Unless its ruffled fur suggests, oh, it's still alive, that's good. It probably gets mobbed by kids to the point where maybe it doesn't even like to get pet. Again, some more pictures from the train. This may be an emerging context with the pond and that building, and this area over here that's already been flattened out, or for perhaps bringing in more buildings. Have leveled out most of this, so a whole complex will probably go in here. The building had large doors on both sides. Sense, because you could drive your wagon straight through perhaps. It's interesting to see that structure. Notice how it looks like the top can turn. Looks like that's a disc of some sort. Double disc right in there. And yet they move these beams with that system.